Train the muscles, not the joints. So welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding, and today I'm going to talk to you about the first contest I ever won / competed in. Back in 1996, there was this contest that came out called the Fraser Valley Naturals. And it had been out for about 2 years, so 95 I think was the first year that they did it. And my girlfriend kept on pushing me at the time to actually enter a contest and you know, validify all this wasted time that I was spending in the gym. And the thing is, the reason why I never competed up until that point is that I just didn't see that there was even chance of me winning or doing well, because the only contests that were available at the time were the other shows, you know, the non-tested shows and stuff. So when the natural show came up, I thought, oh, okay, well, here's something that I could do that could not only prove that I'm natural to a lot of people that were questioning me, but at the same time, it gave me a stage to validify what I was doing and say, hey, you know, here I am, I'm actually doing something constructive. I just competed and took place in some sort of event. It's kind of funny because sometimes you can be the exact same person, but until you win something or until you compete or something like that, it's almost like you don't really have credibility, right? So at that time, getting on stage was a way of giving credibility to all this time that I had spent in the gym. So of course, back then I wasn't really thinking business or anything, but I also knew that if I won a show or did well, then it would be good for personal training. And I had just started learning how to personal train and learning how to work with different people and stuff. So that was kind of something I was interested in at the time. Of course, be careful what you wish for, right? Because years down the road, I started personal training like an assembly line. I didn't really like it too much. It was just a little bit too much like just repeating the same thing over and over again. But that's another subject. So the bottom line is, I had a friend help me with my diet at the time, and I did a really simple diet. I just cut fat out and did cardio. That's all I did. So I had a really fast metabolism when I was 22 years old. So I didn't really have to worry about cutting carbs or doing all the fancy stuff with essential fats and all this. I knew to train hard and I knew how to eat, as far as just eat lots, but I didn't know how to really cut down for a contest. And even then, honestly, even though I got in shape, I can honestly say I didn't really know a lot about cutting down. I just was gifted with a pretty fast metabolism, so I could just cut some fat out of my diet and then it was fine, right? Then I could just automatically lose some weight and I ended up totally lean and I ended up winning the show. So basically after about 6 weeks, 7 weeks on that diet, I was in shape. I was already in shape and then I stepped on stage. So I got a lot of photos for you today to show you, and you'll kind of see how I looked compared to the other guys. And of course, photos don't really tell the whole story. But one thing that was interesting that happened is that I didn't really get pulled out in the comparisons. So usually they pull out the top 3 guys at any one division and they say, okay, this guy is, you know, second place, third place, first place, you know, and they kind of order you up and weigh you and say, okay, who's the best guy here? Well, the funny thing is that they didn't even pull me out for the top 3 call-outs. So that night when I got pulled out as the winner of the division, I was so surprised. It kind of like, I thought I had lost or something like that. Or like I said, you guys are used to seeing yourselves all the time because you've got Instagram. I had no idea what I would look like under the lights or when I had, you know, the tanning product on and stuff like that. I had no idea what my physique would look like on stage. So it was a real mystery to me. So in a way, it kind of made it more exciting because you didn't really know what to expect. And then in other ways, it was kind of horrible because sometimes you could delude yourself into making yourself think that you look a lot better than you do. So yeah, that show was one of the best experiences of my life up until that point, because up until that point, I'd been just this gym bum or this guy that wasted his time lifting weights, you know? And when Ted Kewen, who was the guy, I'll give him a shout out, he's a personal trainer now and stuff like that here in the Lower Mainland, but he was the guy that was running these shows, and he did a tremendous good for a lot of people that wanted to validify their drug-free hobby. You know, they didn't want to go the Olympia route or anything, but they wanted to still step on stage and compete in the show. He was the first guy around here to give any sort of chance to a person that wanted to remain drug-free and to continue this hobby. And sometimes when you can step on stage, it assists with it becoming sustainable. Like I said before, like you can get some personal training clients, or maybe it shows what you know to be true. And when you can step on stage, sometimes it gives you an opportunity to really go into your diet and in your training and be more accountable than ever before. So a show can sometimes help you learn quite a bit, as opposed to just floundering around in the gym and never really being accountable to having to produce a certain result within a certain period of time. So that was the neat part about actually competing in that show. It was my first experience with that. When I went out to that contest, it was an interesting experience for me. I was just so excited to be there. And I was harassing most of the competitors backstage, just joking around and stuff, kind of like I do in the videos now. I think some of the competitors thought that I was like trying to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger and intimidate them, or somehow play some sort of mind game to win the show or something. And that was the furthest thing from my mind. I was just so damn excited to be there. I was jumping up and down, and you know, I just loved the fact that I was actually in a bodybuilding show having a good time. And yeah, anyway, that night I got the first place, and then I won the overall, and I won best poser, and that was my first show in 1996. The neat part about that was that it opened up a possibility for me where I actually thought, hey, you know, maybe this drug-free bodybuilding thing can have its own sort of thing. Maybe there can be an actual career in this. It doesn't have to be you know, IFBB type bodybuilding or nothing, right? Maybe there is something else to this lifestyle that I've chosen to live, and maybe there can be a career around that. So I got really excited. I got bitten by the bug. About 6 months later, my face turned up in a magazine because, you know, they had some of the results from the show. And so in Natural Bodybuilding, they posted some of the pictures from the bodybuilding show. And yeah, after that, I was like, okay, that's it. I'm hooked, right? And that's when I said, okay, I'm going to compete again, and I'm going to go further with this and see what happens. So yeah, that's my story on my first contest that I ever competed in, the 1996 Fraser Valley Naturals. And yeah, I don't know if I talked about this, but one of my friends went in the show too, and yeah, Pro-Tan was a real bitch to deal with back then. Like most guys that go to shows now, they get their tan done, they just pay some money and the tan's automatically done for them. Where back in the day, you had to kind of figure it out yourself. So there would be all these people on stage that you could tell they just didn't know what the hell they're doing. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing either. I just had the advice of a friend who had already competed. And anyway, my friend, he put on a bunch of Pro-Tan, and then he put the bronzer over top, because you wear this black type bronzer over top of the Pro-Tan to make you dark enough. And anyway, he forgot to wash his hands. So when he's on stage, I don't even know if I have a picture of him. I'll put a picture of him right now if I have a picture of him. But he had these hands, like when he was doing his posing routine in that video, and I don't have a video of it right now. I gotta convert it. But his hands were bright black. He looked like a raccoon on stage. So yeah, that's something that you don't have to worry about right now, because you just go hire somebody and that gets done. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, other than that, yeah, that was my first show. That's the first show that I ever won. And yeah, and I've shown you some pictures and everything. So hopefully you enjoyed it. And thanks a lot for watching, and take care for now.